I've been talking about the benefits of creating your podcast using Anchor for quite a while, but today there are so many more benefits that I can't imagine using a different hosting platform. And that's because Anchor, the world's largest podcast hosting platform, has now combined with Spotify for podcasters to create an all-new, first-of-its-kind platform with everything you need to create and grow a podcast. This means that you are now able to combine Anchor's all-in-one free hosting and distribution with all the best features Spotify has to offer, so you can make, manage, and level up your show. This includes the ability to upload or record your content, publish video podcasts to Spotify, add interactive features like Q&A and polls, choose from a number of monetization tools, and keep track of your show's growth with advanced analytics. And of course, you can still publish your episodes and distribute them to all platforms where your podcast is available. What makes all of this so amazing is that even if you already have a podcast hosted elsewhere, you can still take advantage of Spotify's free growth tools for podcasters, like analytics and fan engagement. You can do this by claiming your show on Spotify for Podcasters. Spotify for Podcasters is truly the easiest way to make any podcast, manage your show, and get the most out of Spotify. All you have to do is focus on your content, and they'll take care of the rest. For more information, go to podcasters.spotify.com. Hi, I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
And this is Pink Kink, the podcast where we talk about the pretty,
twisted side of kink.
Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Brianna Lynn, Daddy J, Fabe, Embers, Blossom, William P., Claire, Jam Today, Lady Blooding, Primal Empress, Roxy, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Northern Sir, Manda Panda, Kat, Stefan, Shadow Phoenix, Serenity Deb, Robert, Ruby R., Christopher, Kilted Sir, Fire Good and His Good Boy Grant, Brian, May Cry Devil, Ruby Riot, Mistress Velma, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, Lioness X, The Midnight Girl,
Sinful, Mrs. and Mr. Hart, J21, Daisy If You Do, Princess Katharina and Katharina's Thrall, Harley Chick, Violet Rain, Serenity Belle, Puppy Mike, Jedi Kitten, Eric, Cat Daddy, Sweetie Todd, Radically Blessed, Lady Affliction, Dr. Dave, Sunshine, Pumpkin Pie, Ms. Tourmaline, S'more, Hacksaw, Kinky Katie, Wee Mad Beastie, To Be Better For Me, Sissy Annabelle, Forrest Jada, BP Bryn, Ray S, Crash Override, Becca, Sir Sin, Little Bean, and Kinky Bear.
Pink Kink runs off the generosity of our devoted patrons.
As a patron, you will become a member of our special Discord server, receive some adorable Pink Kink stickers, as well as have access to a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast. Patrons also get discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
In addition, our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get special audio and video episodes. And finally, patrons at our highest tier will be recognized as producers, both here on the podcast and on our website.
If you would like to become a patron, you can visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click the link at pinkkinkpodcast.com. Okay, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, happy birthday part 2, happy birthday to me,
Yeah. What she said. It's still her birthday.
Yeah.
Dara required 2 episodes.
Hey, little miss, so did you.
Yeah, I did.
Or will you? So will you?
I will. I'm still in the process.
You're still in the future.
Of putting together my birthday episode.
All right, so we are doing double birthday episodes, so that means you still have to be nice to me.
Fine.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I'll try. It's not easy, but I'll try.
I know. I mean, hey, Robert, didn't you say that you had plenty of good cop? Why don't you turn that on for me, okay?
I'm always the good cop.
I know, but
I never get to be the bad cop.
Okay, so for your birthday, you can be bad cop, okay?
It won't work, and you know it.
That's your birthday present.
So don't lie to me.
I'm not. You can be bad cop for your birthday.
Then who's the good cop? Because it's not you.
We'll find somebody.
We need a good cop.
Interviews for good cop will be done Zoom.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We can do it at a birthday party that nobody here can come to because it's already happened in the past.
Yes. Interview for good cop for Rara's birthday. But no, forget it. I'm confused.
Yeah. I know.
It's okay.
All right.
It's fine.
We're fine.
It's fine.
Everything is fine.
Nothing is ever fine.
Listen, I had COVID, okay? I'm allowed to be a little bit messed up.
I was going to say, you are not fine.
It's all good.
And what's really funny is I could hear how not fine you were in the episode that I'm editing right now.
Oh, yeah. My voice was just...
Oh, it's awful.
Not only just my voice, but I think you would... If you didn't know better, you would think I had ADHD because I could not follow a linear thought if my life depended upon it.
No, your brain was so far gone, and I was having a blast. I mean, that was, to me, that was an absolutely perfect episode. I don't ever want to do episodes linear again. But listening to it, you are going to lose your shit when you listen to this because I'm bonkers.
Scared.
It's
I'm
so
really
bad.
Scared.
I literally, how many times did I mention that I wanted it to be, I only mentioned it once, but I was thinking the whole time, I wanted this to be called the bullshit episode. That one, not this one.
Well, it's bad when Dara messages me, it's going, I'm editing this episode. What is our topic? I don't even know what our topic is.
I said, I'm 15 minutes in and I don't know what to save this as. I have no title. I have nothing to go by.
Should we just call it the Rara Has COVID episode and just...
Yeah, but then how are... Okay, I don't know because all of our other ones have been like kink titles so people can like pick and choose. But if we call it the bullshit Rara Has COVID episode.
Okay, how about Rara got COVID from the dungeon episode? Then that makes it kinky, right?
That's almost entirely what we talked about for the first 20 minutes. So here's the best part. And this is, again, I texted this to Rara and I was dying when I was doing this. I'm still recording. I had to keep going because, again, I had no fucking idea what the topic was. So I said to Rara, I was like, you know what? Our record for not actually stating the topic was 24 minutes. I wonder what this one would be. Bang on 24 minutes. It tied the record, no record breaking. Daddy J actually suggested I throw some stuff in there just to or not pull stuff out so that it was exactly, more. But
that would be cheating.
It would totally be cheating. Don't cheat. But it's okay.
We don't cheat.
Yes, we do. But it would be okay because we said the thing and then we immediately went back to the bullshit. We mentioned it so I knew what to call the damn episode, but we completely got derailed. So
it's okay. We'll be much better with this episode.
No, we won't. We're already gone. I'm already tired.
But no, they know it's your birthday episode.
Right.
Because we did that at the beginning.
Birthday episode part 2.
We have more books.
Well, yes. And these, okay, so I have 2 more interviews for you. And then Rara actually has to put on her big girl not sleepy pants today.
Okay.
Because...
Oh, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be wearing pants?
I mean, what are you wearing exactly? I'm only seeing your top right now. What are you wearing?
You don't know.
She's like, not much.
I'm in the dungeon. I needed to feel dungeony.
Well, I see you're wearing black, but I'm not sure what else. Oh, stop it. That was so bad. She's doing the wiggle boobs at me. I'm like, okay.
Why am I putting on my big girl pants?
Because
I have to put my big girl pants on?
Actually, so this is really funny because this part was your idea.
Sorry?
Yeah, you had an idea, Rara.
I had an idea.
You did. You're a genius.
Lots of ideas. I know. What was this idea? Remind me.
I knew it. Well, you said, okay.
I have so many good ideas. I can't remember
You
all of
just can't
them.
keep track of them all. It's such a problem for you. These genius level IQs that you have, you know?
Right?
So sarcastic. Anyway, yeah. You had an idea and it was brilliant. And I just really, I think we're going to end the episode with your idea, Rara.
Okay.
I was trying to keep a straight face. It wasn't working.
Okay.
You have no idea what you said, do you?
No, I don't.
Oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
This is my birthday present to me. This is going to be great.
All right.
Are you slapless sad yet?
I'm just going along for the ride. It's fine. It's all fine.
Vroom, vroom, bitch. Strap on. In? On?
Strap on. Strap on.
That was not the idea. Just so you know.
We've done that already.
Yeah, but I feel like it would be very difficult to do that virtually, which we're doing right now. So I don't know that would work even if the idea was a strap-on.
I have a Sibian.
Well,
we could pretend.
I mean, the Sibian is with you. What good is that going to do me?
Well, but you'd be strapping on and I'd be the in. So it works fine.
But I'm not getting fucked.
No, you weren't. I was getting fucked because you wear the strap on. Yes. Go on. Anyway, should we talk about books?
Okay. What the hell? What is wrong with us?
We're tired.
We're so tired.
I stayed up way too late watching trash reality television last night. If you ever want to feel better about your life, watch Temptation Island and realize your life is so good compared to these people.
True. Oh, okay. That's another thing we have to talk about.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I just found this super funny and I have screenshot it and I have been showing everybody. You know that post that we got tagged in on FetLife?
Yes.
I literally was showing people at work. I was laughing so hard.
How are you explaining it to them?
They know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a very well kept secret at my job. I will say that. People know. My bosses don't know.
Well, would you like to? And then you can give a shout out to the person who wrote it. Because obviously they're a listener. I bet they would love to hear their name mentioned.
Hold on. I hate you so much. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll get right on that, Rara. Thanks. So Phoenix Evolving on FET wrote a quote of mine from the most recent episode to air while we're recording this episode. So 3 episodes ago for you.
Math is hard. Just say what they said.
Okay. Anyway, they said, "They woke the dragon." And then that was my quote on episode 129. And they tagged me, Pink Cake Podcast, and Rara. And she says, "I laughed so hard on my commute this morning." And then Rara responded with, "Never know what she's going to say."
It's true.
Oh, I didn't even read this one. It says, "The best compliment for a podcast is that it's so funny, it's actually dangerous to drive with it. Can't wait to catch up and listen to it." Yeah.
We try to tell people of that. We try to warn them.
We tell them all the time. I mean, my very favorite response ever was when Vixen posted that thing on that response to the oralism episode, and she was just Miss Ma'am at me. It was great. Anyway, back to books, or else we're never going to finish this episode. So the first one that this episode is going to, I guess, start with, first one, start all of that jazz, is, this one. Oh, okay. This one was actually really funny. It's called Sex Wizards. And I found this on Reddit. And it was everything I hoped it would be and more. It was so
funny. And
You say sex wizards, and I feel like somebody turned Harry Potter into porn.
yes, essentially. No, it was actually the magic system was based on kinky sex. So this is the part that I kept thinking Rara will hate it. And I did not mention this in the interview, but they never separate sex and kink. Every single kink session ends in sex, ends in some kind of release. And I'm like, Rara will hate this. Like, this is what I kept thinking the whole time. Anyway, so sex wizards with our friend Tomcat. Here we go.
I would like to extend a big pink welcome to Tomcat.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. You look so cute.
Well, thank you.
You always look cute. What am I talking about? You're always cute. Yeah, so super excited. Tomcat is a patron, has been for a while.
From the very beginning, or damn near close to the very beginning.
Were you? Dang. I don't even remember. Not that like I wouldn't remember you. I'm just like, it's kind of all mushing together in my head at this point. But yeah, you've been super active from the beginning too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Except for, the times where I'm moving and
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's okay. But moving closer to me and Rara, very smart move.
I agree. It's the best place to be.
Definitely. All right, let's get into this. We read, okay, it's going to sound, saying it even is really stupid. So you know how I specifically was going for fantasy books with kink in it?
Yeah.
Well, I found this one. I think I found it on Reddit or something. And it's sex wizards.
Yeah. So I was wondering how that came up. Like it is fantasy but it's BDSM. Like it is.
Oh, it is.
Absolutely 100% that it's a BDSM book.
It is a BDSM book.
Hints of fantasy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's wizards. They do, magic and shit.
Yes.
But mostly sex. Sex. So here's been my problem. In my quest for these books, I've been looking for so my thing is I like books with a plot.
Yeah.
I like books with character development. I like actual books, right?
Yeah.
Books that are just sex scene after sex scene after sex scene. I'm like, this is boring. This is stupid.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that is the whole thing. Like, it is sex. Like, if you didn't want to hear sex, then you're in the wrong book. I mean, it's straight up about it, right? Sex wizard.
Yeah, well, it's sex with a little bit of wizard.
Yeah. But it never actually describes how or, like, the focus or how to create the different things. It just kind of happens while they're having the sex. So,
yeah.
Where's the skill part? Where is the, development of,
Well, okay, so let's get into that. This is the part, okay, this actually pissed me off more than anything else, besides the just every other 2 pages was freaking 10-page long sex scene that I was getting bored by the end. I mean, I did like the book. I'm not going to lie. I thought the book was kind of cute. However, the Mary Sue-ness of this character. Do you know what a Mary Sue is?
like the best at everything, first time, all the time kind of thing.
Does that describe him?
Yeah.
Also, his name.
I know.
Really?
I know. I was like, oh, okay. I can kind of see where this character is leading. And then it didn't really, like, he's not.
Well, the basis of it is you have to start as a sub before you become a dom. But clearly, based on his name, he's already a dom.
It's already there. It's inherent, obvious.
You're like, he's going to have to be. It's just destined. And then so his name is what? Domini?
Domini.
And then
But
they
you
just,
can call me Dom.
but you can call him Dom, of course. Yeah. And then everybody does. I'm like, hey, Dom. It's like me just yelling, hey, sub to you.
Yeah. No.
No. But what if your name was like Subani?
Love and
I don't know.
Okay. We're going to have to call somebody that now. I
No,
don't know.
okay. Yeah, you're right. We're going to have to name somebody Subani and just call them Sub. So yeah, what were your, like, did you have a favorite or a dislike about it? I mean, I've already ranted off about mine.
So a favorite is it's very inclusive, right? So
Yeah.
they have a lot of different scenes with different individuals, different gender identities. That was nice. Like I haven't read very many books that are as inclusive as that.
I have never read a book with an intersex character before.
Yeah. So I think that was really cool. Having it be normal, for the area. I think that they didn't do a very good job at what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to connect that to his upbringing, because it came up a couple of times that the area that he was in or grew up in was prudish,
Right.
They didn't accept. So I would think that there would maybe be a little bit more inner turmoil,
with the intersex character, or the fact that everybody was bi.
The fact that everybody was bi and that just sex was so open, like it was.
Yeah, he just went into that just immediately, didn't he? And just fully was like, "Oh, this is great. I'm going to have sex literally everywhere."
Yeah, with everybody.
And I'm so talented at sex.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're so great at this. Okay, let's just...
Oh my God, you're immediately just so wonderful at all the sex. And look at all of the, what do they call them? Focuses that you made. You made 4 focuses at one time. Oh my God, you're amazing.
Yeah, without any kind of training or buildup. Like,
right.
That helps to develop the character as if they don't start out perfect and they have to learn and start out small and build upon that, So
well, he did not start out small.
No.
Like the first scene that's in there, he gets tied up by a woman and butt fucked.
Yeah. Yep. Like right off the bat, no qualms, no like, hey, by the way, we're gonna do anal. Have you prepped for that?
Yeah, no prep. Oh my God.
None
I mean, it was hot.
Yeah.
But Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the back of my mind, all I can think about is, but there are things that you
But wait.
Yeah.
You can do so many butt jokes with this. Just like, but there's more. Oh, and everybody was huge.
Yeah. And gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Everybody was gorgeous. Everybody was so beautiful.
Yeah. But she's 3 leagues out of my, or 3 times. Whatever he said there. No.
Yeah. Well, they did add a little bit of a racism component, too. So there was something that he was against.
Yeah. Yep. I do remember that. And that was it. So there was a little bit of a contention there, but that was gone very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah. As soon as the dude whipped out his dick, all the racism was gone.
Yeah. 1 sex scene and we're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this prejudice that I've had my entire life, it's obviously wrong. And I'm...
Well, clearly it was a lie, because everything he was ever taught was incorrect.
Yeah.
And one conversation with the person on the other side of the war, I guess, whatever it was, and everything is all cleared up and better now.
Yep, it's all fixed.
Okay,
yeah.
So another thing I did not like, and I don't like starting off like with all the dislikes, but like we're on a roll right now. They didn't exactly ask a whole lot of permission to start things. Like he was cool with it, obviously, every single time. But there was not a lot of, hey, do you want to do this?
Yeah, no, it was just, okay, this is a safe word. Everything stops if you want it to stop. But there was a little bit of like, okay, I'm going to tell you what we're doing as we're doing it. So
Right.
not so much negotiation beforehand or knowledge of what you're getting into so that you can think with a clear mind, what you're getting into. It's waiting until you're in the scene. And then you can say stop. But I mean, do you really want it to stop? Because if you don't stop, then you get a more powerful spell. Okay, so there is one thing at the very, very beginning of the book. It says something like, if you go beyond what you're comfortable with and it goes into the realm of like you're actually afraid or you have actual fear and not just
Not
kind
like
of a
good time,
hesitation.
sexy fear. Yeah.
Right. Then the spell won't work. But that one sentence kind of negates the rest of the story, because at the end they definitely want stopping to happen. So wouldn't that negate any of the spells that they would have created at that point? You know
what? I never made that connection. You're totally right. So that means anything like rapey would not work.
Right. I would think, but that's just one sentence versus the rest. So they didn't explain, I guess, why the bad guy was being successful in his spell creation, I guess.
Yeah.
If that is.
Yeah. Okay.
Is a caveat.
And then this is the part that I don't, that bugs me the most about any of these books, where the plot doesn't happen until 3/4 of the way into the book.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even know there was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm dissing this book really hard right now. I swear to God, I do have a lot of good points about this book. It's just one of those books that doesn't really, the plot is secondary to the sex.
Yes.
If you are into that kind of thing, which I know a lot of people are, then it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's entertaining if you can have it in the background and not really be focusing on or like picking apart. It's just
focus.
5 of them. I have 5 focuses.
You have 5 focuses? Now. Oh my God. Where are they?
You'll have to guess.
Hey, you live closer to me now. I can come down and find them.
Ooh. Hello. How you doing? What kind of wizard are you attempting to be? What kind of spell are we putting together?
I don't know. There was no Electro in there, so I don't think. Well, there are like 5 of these books, so maybe there's Electro in there somewhere.
It did seem like, though, the focuses gave a little zap, so that's kind of the Electro. Maybe every focus has.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Let's get into that part then. So now that we've brought up what type of wizard do you want to be, I like the segue. So let's see. There are different magic schools. So like it's kind of like I don't want to call it a compound. What would we call this? It's like a series of different towers around. Oh, a campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a regular college campus that has different buildings for different schools. You got your school for science, you got your school for like, I don't know, philosophy, humanities.
Art.
You got your school for art. So there was, let's see, I think I have this in here. Okay, yes, I do have it. Evocation, where you temper the pain with pleasure. Humiliation and objectification. Wow, this got kind of messed up. This is not really. So my notes are in order of in the book. They're not entirely organized like by what each one is. Maybe you can help me out with this. Okay, first of all, I freaking love the cover of this book.
I didn't really see the cover. I was listening. It was an audible for me.
Oh, okay. Well, the cover is amazing. It's let me show you right now. It's this dude. He's like half naked, kind of built, very anime looking, but he's got the rope in his mouth. He's got his necklace of different kinds of focuses. He's tied.
Yep.
Actually, and there's
very pretty.
There's like magical moats. So that's kind of cute. Okay, let's see. I'm going to pull up, my notes. Okay, here we go. So the first thing is they call it the Crux. That's like the magical school. And what I did like was the first thing she said was, all right, this is your test. We can stop at any time. Just say the magic word.
Stop. which is what?
He's like, what's the magic word? It's stop. Like, duh.
Hello.
I like how matter of fact that was. It was just pretty funny. But so I said in my notes, I was like, well, I think that's very interesting that they don't have like a magic word, you know, for their safe word.
Mhm.
It's plain language.
Yeah.
Immediately. And nobody takes that word for granted.
That was interesting. There wasn't, they didn't really go into different safe words or, other uses.
Mm-hmm.
It eventually got to the point where, there might be a nonverbal in instance. So it would be, a physical cue, which is good that they went into that too, but stop, kind of an all-powerful.
Yeah, there was some time when he had a gag in his mouth and they had him do something else. I don't remember what that was, though. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We don't want to give too many spoilers.
So I don't know. They didn't really go into, though, if that word actually had magic. They kind of said something about it being a very powerful word, but not that it actually held any power. And then later, it didn't really seem to by the end of the book.
Well, by the end of the book, it's non-consent, like true non-consent. And the word, if it was a magic word that caused everything to stop automatically, then there could be no non-consent.
Right.
Because it just wouldn't work. However, if it's just a safe word and people should respect that, then obviously the non-consent person isn't going to respect that. So
Right.
I think they need to design a focus that is like a shield that goes up as soon as they say the word stop. Then it will actually be a magic word.
Yeah, that would work. I don't know how I don't think it really explained how the use of the focuses goes. Like, it just has to be near you or like actually in contact if you have to be holding it. Maybe you could be wearing one of the focuses if you feel like you're going into a dangerous situation.
Well, they did do the scene where they had to actually cast the spell.
Yeah.
But they never said how to actually cast it. Do they throw it? I mean, it's a fucking rock. What do? They never said how to actually bring the spell out.
Yeah. That's exactly, like, I was confused afterwards. I'm like, okay, so holding it in your hand and you have to think about something, or you have to push energy into it, through it. Like, it's a focus. I don't know. I still don't know.
You have to focus really hard on it.
So, yeah. And they wear like necklaces around, like on a necklace.
Yeah. And it's not a metal necklace. It's like a leather necklace.
Yeah. So then once it's gone, then all of your power is gone, which is frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was part of the problem. All right. So he says, okay, so evocation is one of them. This is the part that I thought was really cool. There's conduits and there's casters. Do you want to explain the difference?
So the conduit is the bottom, the one who's having things done to them. And the caster is the top. So the one doing the things is what it sounds like is the difference. So all of the magic, damn near all of the magic requires two people. Minimum of two people.
Good point.
In order to cast. In order to create, I guess, not to actually use the spell, but in order to create a spell. A minimum of two people for the vast majority is what it sounds like.
Right. And let's see, evocation, she says, we don't have to do this as a conduit. It's important that you enforce your own limits. I sigh and run a hand through my hair. I don't even know what those limits are yet. Okay. So they do discuss limits, but she doesn't tell him what those limits could possibly be or give him any background whatsoever before doing the scene.
Like zero discussion of what is about to happen or what he has done or what he's okay with doing or what he's thought about. Maybe give him a little bit of information and say, here, sit with this for a minute. See
they gave him a couple of books
that he didn't read until after he had done how many casting?
Yeah. See, if I were writing this, it would be like a true college. There would be lectures. There would be homework. There would be book reading. There would be viewings.
Yes.
There would be study groups.
Yeah.
You know, before
I
feel like that would be something like you wouldn't get into the practicalities of it until like, I don't know, junior year or third year or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of irritates me. I feel like I want to rewrite this and do it better.
Yeah, you should start with the theory of all the things, because as you're going into it, as you're learning, as you're getting into the lifestyle, you hear about all of the different things, and you have the frenzy. I mean, I had the frenzy. I would say that a good majority of us tend to do that. So
this guy definitely does.
Yes. So we can relate to that. He's like, I don't even know what my limits are. I want to do all of the things. So it would be more responsible for the people taking them into it is to make sure that they understand before they get into a situation what it could be and what could happen, and to go into it with a clear mind, what you're okay with beforehand. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
And the theory behind it, though, would help, because if you know this is the kind of power that you're going to get from this, then that gives you something to aim for, but not to just give a blanket consent. Yeah, this is the end, so I'm just fine with whatever gets me to that.
They said something about, so another thing that they really hit heavy on was heavy on the aftercare.
Yeah, without discussing beforehand anything, which was different. Yeah, the automatic cuddling after the second scene.
With Ulbrich.
Yep. I
actually like that character a lot.
Yeah, he was pretty cool, but it was, okay, we're done. We're getting you down. We're going to cover us in a blanket. We're just going to cuddle.
Yeah, what if you don't like cuddling?
Yeah, it sounds great to some people, but you don't know that unless you've talked about it or...
Right. Yeah. And he just met this person.
Yeah.
So first of all, he gets fucked by him and then automatic cuddling.
Oh, by the way, have you been fucked by a man before? No? Oh, awesome. Great. This is awesome for me. Let's go ahead and get started. Oh, by the way, do you have a problem being fucked by a man?
And he's just like, I don't know. I've never fucked a man before. Let's try it out. And then it's like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
And going straight, yeah.
Well, at least they use lube. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed this book. I sound like I'm dissing it a lot. I actually enjoyed it, but I think I enjoyed the problematic elements of it more than the actual book, because I was just hysterically laughing. I did masturbate a couple of times to these scenes, though. I'm not going to lie. They were pretty hot.
They were pretty hot. I did not get bored with the scenes. I fully enjoyed them.
Did you?
Enjoyed them.
Well, all right. Which scene?
I actually
spill
where the one that he was kind of being teased for a week or however long.
Oh, the chastity scene.
Not the chastity. The one after that where it was like, oh, you're going to be free use. You're going to have to throw on. So people can use you anytime they want to. And he's like, yeah, I'm down with that. That sounds great. And then they would approach and tease, but not
yes.
fulfill.
Oh, yes. Oh, that was driving him crazy.
Yep. And then by the time it came to the fulfillment of that, that was
So
a lot going on there.
my first full enjoyment scene was actually the one we were just discussing with Ulbrich, and he's like, "Hey, you've never had sex with a man before? Great, let's do that." And I like gay sex. What can I say? And it was hot. It was very well written, actually. I was like, okay.
Just shocking it came so early. I thought it would take a little bit more working into.
Look, they started out with pegging.
They did.
I'm not actually all that surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go into the one scene that okay. First of all, yes, I did start laughing. I will admit that, but I wasn't really expecting it. It was the pony play scene.
Yes. I was not expecting that either. I thought maybe he would actually be transformed into. I
thought so too.
But that didn't happen. So I wasn't sure what
like a transfiguration spell or something.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I thought that too, honestly. And then it was like, I have this quote. My idea was to harness the strength of, say, a draft horse into a spell that a person might use to enhance their own strength at a needed time. So I made a leather driving harness, shoes, tail, and other adornments to create the spell. He made quite an impressive beast of burden.
He was. I mean, in my head, he was quite an impressive beast of burden.
But that wasn't about Dom. Do you remember who he tried that on? Or which character was that? That was the they character.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ulbrich for a minute. It was not. I forgot I don't know how to pronounce this character's name. But they did that to the head of the fucking school.
I thought he was the one that was kind of a Clydesdale kind of figure.
The head of the school, Arlen?
Yeah. I thought he did do thought that's what that was talking about.
He was the pony. The first that we didn't see that one. That's what they described. Yeah. And in order to get Dom to actually do the next one, but Dom was more like not a Clydesdale.
No, like a show. One of those. What are they called?
Like a Frisian?
Maybe. The ones with the high stepping.
Yeah. I think that's what that one is. I don't know horses, but
very fancy.
Very fancy. Probably had braids in his hair. You know, he made a very beautiful, amazing, perfect horse as well. And then Dom in his horse persona fucked his owner person.
Yeah. That was an interesting turn. I
was expecting it to be the other way around.
The other way around, yeah.
But so Dom got all hot and bothered.
And couldn't help himself anymore?
I guess not.
As horses do.
Yeah, okay.
Is that the one where he lost one of the focuses?
Yes. And had to go digging for it in the other person. Again, not expecting that. But it's like, so the problem with that is the only thing I could think of was losing a tampon.
Uh-oh.
It was supposed to be reminiscent of losing like a butt plug or a little bullet vibe or something. But the only thing I could think of was losing a tampon. I was like, okay.
Flare is the way to go.
Yeah. So these little ball things that they put a string on them for fuck's sake.
Or something. Yeah. I mean, it sounded like some of them were connected as like a whole long.
So like a Benoit ball thing.
Yeah. But yeah, not all of them. I mean, if they're not connected to anything, then how are you just supposed to kind of be a chicken about it and be like, what?
That's a fetish.
Like, how do you?
That's a fetish. I don't know, but he did have to go in and pull it out of his partner that one time.
Yeah. But that sounded like it was unusual. Like nobody had ever done that before.
That ice cream bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit that
Yeah.
nobody's ever lost one. Because, okay, so like if they're tied together by leather, then what if the leather breaks? You can't tell me that's not happened.
Yeah, that had to have happened. So that was a little bit strange. Like this school, the Crux, has been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Like a long ass time. And it's all about sex. And they haven't had an instance where
Yeah.
the focus has come off or break off or
I call bullshit. I thought that was a pretty cool addition. Gave it a little bit more realism, but the fact that that's never happened. No, what you do is you just be like, yeah, that happens. Just go get it. Here's a special tool.
Yeah. Special tool. That's what, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where you throw in your speculum play and all of that.
Let me just go get that. Okay.
Everybody should have one in their bag. One more thing that I want to talk about, and this is just extra special for Rara.
Okay.
Guess which scene?
Is it the first one with the impact?
No.
No.
The healing scene.
Oh, the healing scene. You want to talk about that? Are you sure?
No, I'm not looking at it. It's fine. I read the thing. Way to give a hint.
It was very interesting. I figured they would have to have something like that. They talked about his arm so often. I figured they had to have something that would kind of fix that issue. So that was, but I can see the connection, right? Yeah. You know, you have to give a little to get a little.
So yeah. Well, it's a needle scene, and I just kept like it wasn't acupuncture either. It wasn't just stick the needle in and it sticks out and it's a very, very tiny needle and you look like a porcupine.
Nope.
It was a full-blown rah-rah style
needle scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the kind where you have like multiple gauges and you put them in the skin and then out the other side and they just stay there kind of a thing. But the way he described what he was feeling during that was exactly how Rara describes it when she gets her needles done.
That's interesting.
Have you ever heard her talk about it?
Just a very little bit. I mean, what you guys kind of talk about on the podcast. You know, so it kind of she talks about how the mind space that it puts her in.
Right.
But getting there and how that feels was described pretty well, I think, in the book.
Yeah, the euphoric feeling from it. And here's the quote that I pulled. It's not the same as evocation where you temper the pain with pleasure. Here, I have to find pleasure in the pain itself. I feel a sort of giddy relief that my body can not only withstand the pain, but relish it.
That was very, very interesting. And the other interesting thing about this particular scene is that the magic is being cast on him at the same time that it's being worked, which is not generally how the other...
So it's the only one that doesn't use a focus.
Because he kind of is the focus, I guess, they're trying to fix his issue.
Would the needles be the focuses? Were they metal or were they that rock thing?
I don't remember now. I'd have to go back and look at that.
Now I need to look.
See if those, I mean, because it could be that that's the focus, but then they'd be expending the energy from those at the same time as rather than, it's just interesting that they didn't have something already built up from a focus that they could have used on him rather than going through this, creating the spell at the time. It seemed like it was very specific. So you have to have a specific injury in mind in order to create the healing magic that was necessary.
I mean, overall, it's a really cool concept. It's a really cool idea, but the execution of it just leaves you going, wait, what? Like a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to end this on one thing. And this, I don't know if it pissed me off or made me laugh, kind of both. But at the end, you have your bad guy, right?
Yes.
And he says, "We'll be back for you, little dirt blood." And I'm like, you fucking Harry Potter thief.
I know. Yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of that. So Harry Potter, I really like Harry Potter.
I love
Definitely
Harry Potter.
Um,
Well, you're my age, so your entire personality is based on Harry Potter. Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, I mean, I've had wands, multiple, like, not, I mean, I have a magic wand too, but I mean, different kind of wands. Anyway. But there's a lot more development, and you build on the magic in order to get better as like an actual school. So, you know, you can steal a little bit, I guess.
You were,
But
I mean, the whole time you're kind of comparing it to Harry Potter, right?
a little bit.
A little bit. But the
Little
dirt blood comment, I was like, just call him a
Was
mudblood.
straight up thievery. Yeah.
Just call him a mudblood. You know you want to.
But I mean, I don't know. That kind of discrimination wasn't even brought up in the rest of the.
No, not until the very end. So, like, obviously the second book is going to have more of that. But I'm just like, oh my God, are you Lucian or are you Draco? Probably more Draco.
Draco, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
got
I
that
would-
petulant kind of, nah, my family's so important kind of vibe.
Yep, definitely that.
So mostly this book pissed me off.
How many are there?
Oh God. At least 3.
Okay.
At least. Now I have to read the rest of them.
I am going to have to, I have to read the rest of them. Even if it wasn't as developed or as good of a story as I would like, still have to read the rest.
You have to, because now I have to know what the fuck is up with this guy.
Yep.
And how Draco Malfoy is he?
We'll see. When were these written?
2022.
Okay. So yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of elements that kind of coincide from different genres, right? So I mean, some people will compare Harry Potter to Star Wars too.
Oh, well,
They
it's
have a lot of
identical.
similar components. Yeah.
It's absolutely identical. It's the hero's journey all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a whole different podcast.
But they don't use the same words. Like, you got to come up with a different.
All right, well, I'm going to call it because we're like 40 minutes in right now. But yeah, so absolutely awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We have to go read the rest of the books now.
So that was a super fun interview, and I adore Tomcat, and I'm so unbelievably happy that she moved to our state.
Love Tomcat.
She's coming
And
to our birthday.
Excellent. And I'm sure she loved doing that interview with you.
She did. She had a good time. She was very flirty with me.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like when you were shaking your boobies, except she did it way better.
Probably because her intention was to flirt. That was not my intention.
But yeah, we had a really good time with that interview. Aside from the flirting, both of us were like, we enjoyed the book, but we were both seriously just laughing at it. I it's just, what else are you going to do with a book like that? I mean, really,
You can't.
Really. Next is a bit of a surprise for Rara. And I wanted to save this one for her because, and I kept this a secret for like almost a week, I think. And
That's impressive.
a whole entire week. I was talking to somebody that Rara knows on TikTok, and we were just chatting, and I mentioned, because she really, really likes books, this person. And I was like, oh my God, This is great. You will love this episode that I'm working on right now for my birthday. And I told her what I was doing with the fantasy books and Kick. And she's like, wow, that's something I think I would have really gotten into, even though I'm not really into fantasy. That sounds really, really fun. And I was like, well, do you think you can, pick a book and we could read it in like a couple of days, and then, I can interview you, and then we'll tell Rara about it. And here's the funny part. We did it. We actually managed to do this. Rara and I were supposed to record together on Saturday.
Yeah.
No, we were supposed to record together on Saturday. And then she decided, okay, so then the other person that I was working with this was supposed to do something else with her, with Rara on Sunday.
Right.
But then we couldn't do it. Something about we couldn't get the book thing scheduled right. So she canceled recording with Rara.
Got pushed back to Wednesday.
Got pushed back so that she could record with me. So Rara, do you know who it is yet?
Well, I do, because I know who I recorded with this week.
And
I just recorded with them last night.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my friend Natalie from Trigger Warning Romance.
That's who it is. So we actually did an interview with Nat, or I did, as kind of a, like, it's my birthday episode, but I thought it'd be really fun to just kind of surprise Rara with that.
And what book did you do?
We did From Russia with Blood. So it's another vampire one. And I did end up telling Nat that I did not finish the book.
That is sad. I know the book.
Well, it was very romancy, and it was still, so to me, the paranormal aspect and stuff, that's fine. That's still fantasy. It was still a romance, which is fine. I did an erotica with Loso. I'm doing a kind of a romancy one with Nat. You know, this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But she had to explain, you'll hear it in the interview, but she had to explain the concept of
the rules of romance.
Yes. That is not something that got stuck in my head, I think. So I had a hard time with some of the stuff in this book.
I'm really glad you picked this book because I know the author.
Like, personally?
Yeah.
Well, this is not my style of book. I will tell you that right now. It was good. And, you know, what Nat was saying in the interview, I am definitely going to be finishing this book and I will be reading the sequel and I'll talk about it with her. It's just not my normal. So I do enjoy expanding my horizons, but it is not something I ever would have picked for myself. All right. So here
Somebody even said though. Okay. Well, you want to save the author's name for after? Or are you going to share the author's name now?
Oh, you go ahead and say it then.
This is my friend Vivian Murdoch, who she's actually in the kink lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
She's awesome and amazing. And she reaches out to me and I answer questions for her and help her with stuff.
Oh, good. Well, then you can tell her we did her book for this episode.
Yes, I will. I'm very excited to be able to tell her about that because she's fantastic.
Tell her I am actually planning on finishing the damn book.
I am going to laugh though. Well, here, play it and then we'll talk.
Rara has not been with me for these recordings. So, and I've been kind of doing this on my own. And there's a reason for that. One, she has COVID. So I'm not going to her house. And two, it's really hard to schedule all these people. So this time I decided to do, it's my birthday episode. And I'm very, very like, you know, it's my birthday. I get to do what I want kind of thing. But I also really, really like surprising Rara. So I have a very special guest for this section, shall we say? Please welcome Nat from Trigger Warning Romance.
Hello and happy birthday.
Thank you. We're recording like 3 weeks before my birthday, but I'll still take it.
It's all right.
As you can tell, I am recording from my house, which means there will be dog noises that I will not be able to cut out.
That's okay. My toddler might walk in here at any minute, so
Perfection.
it's going to be amazing. Your dogs, my children, it's going to be...
It's going to be a brouhaha.
It's, you know, what's a birthday without a little bit of extra craziness, right?
Yeah, for sure. I just keep threatening to turn mine into a hat. I'm a Cruella de Vil your ass if you don't go away.
She's not having it. She's not having it.
No, she's super pissed that she can't come in here right now. So she's making her pissiness known.
It's fine.
Anyway, all right, just to refresh everybody's memory, we are doing a episode on fantasy. Technically, they're fantasy books that have some kick to them.
Yeah.
And so I thought, who better?
I'm very honored that you thought of me. And also, when you were like, fantasy with kink, I am not a big fan of fantasy. Like, I'm okay with it, but I do a lot more, as you said, like paranormal or contemporary. And my books, as per my podcast, Trigger Warning Romance, they're dark romance. So there's kink, but there's also lots of other stuff that you will not agree with as a normal human being, and you shouldn't. You know, it's not like I've spoken with a bunch of different authors on this, and these books are not meant as a like any sort of training guide or information. Like, this is pure fantasy and it's fiction, and we're going to leave it at that. So before we dive into this book, I want to remind everybody,
including me probably,
yes, that this book, it's called From Russia with Love. I'm sorry, From Russia with Blood.
With blood, yeah. I was going to say, no love.
No, well, there's love.
There's love, but
there's infatuation, you know?
There's some serious lust.
Yes. It's Russian vampires on a cruise ship, and it's by Vivian Murdoch, who is one of my favorite authors, and she writes a lot of kink.
I really wish there was an audiobook for this one, honestly.
I don't think she has any audiobooks yet.
I looked.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's a small indie author.
Yeah, well, this would have been so much fun to listen to just because I feel like the accents, oh my God, there goes the dog again. The accents would have been amazing.
Yes, the Russian accent. You like the Russian accent?
That I do like.
That was my one, I would say, pet peeve is I speak Russian fluently. So and Vivian knows this. So from now, I mean, when she wrote this book, she didn't know me. But I was like, Vivian, if you need any Russian help in the future, please, for the love of God, contact me. Because just the verbs were conjugated wrong. Like, a lot of the words weren't the right tense or the right, I would say gender, right? Because a lot of the Russian's gendered. So like a female cup is different than like a male cup. I know it makes no sense. It's kind of like French and Spanish, same thing. But in the book, like when the male vampire has his youngin that he turned, right, and he calls her Maladoy. So she's a lady. She would be Maladaya. She wouldn't be Maladoy.
What does Maladoy mean?
It means young one. Okay,
because I was calling her Melody.
Okay, yeah. No, it was meant to be, because her name was Gloria.
That's Gloria?
That's Gloria.
I knew it!
Yes.
Okay, let me just point out really quick. I got about 58% of the way through this book because we picked this, like 3 days ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I had some shit go down in my life. I'll just say it. My dog had to have emergency ACL surgery, so I've been a little attached to this dog, and I've barely had any time to do anything. So I got 58% of the way through this book, most of it this morning, and I knew goddamn, spoilers. I knew it.
Yeah. Oh, we should probably do a big spoiler alert because I'm going to spoil this entire book for you guys.
Great. Fantastic. I fucking knew she wasn't dead.
No, she's not dead.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
So the premise of this book is, again, please nobody take notes and go do this because there's a lot of problematic stuff in this book. But that's the whole point of dark romance as a genre. It's problematic, but in a fun way. It's not problematic in a mean way. There's definitely some.
Please don't read this book and then actually do this stuff. Please, you will be arrested.
However, anybody who's listened to Trigger Warning Romance knows that non-con is like one of my favorite things to read in books. So this book had so much non-con in it, and I was all for it.
And that's what was driving me nuts.
It was?
Yes. All of my highlights. All of my highlights. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the one that made me actually scream out loud. Okay, hang on. I know we're like, I don't really do like, we're going in order. So this is going to piss Rara off like you wouldn't believe, but I'm hoping just having you on here will smooth that a little. Okay. This one, I'm trying to find it. I literally, my poor husband heard me go, what the fuck? Like as loud as I could. Feeling the burn, sweetheart. Gulping, I can only nod and grip the flogger even tighter. Good. It's ginger oil. What the fuck?
He put it in her butt.
How dare you? How dare you not ask if you can fig somebody? No!
It's dark romance.
I don't care! Everything else I was semi-okay with right up until that point, and then I went, fuck no.
Well, then I'm glad that you stopped at 58%, because it only get worse after that.
No, I'm gonna finish it. I'm not letting this go, and I will be messaging you every chapter and be like, what the fuck?
Again, I love Vivian Murdoch. She writes some of my favorite Omegaverse, which I'm sure Rara has told you about because there's nodding in those. So
yeah, no, she loves them. Yeah, I know. I've heard Vivian Murdoch's name a lot.
She's fantastic. And I know she's herself is in the lifestyle. So I feel like that's why her world building for this cruise ship. How fun was that, though? You had to appreciate the cruise ship aspect.
I genuinely want to go on a kinky Halloween cruise now.
They have them, I'm sure. They have
to have them. I genuinely want to go. I did appreciate, I will say, for this cruise, I did like the setup.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how the whole thing is blocked out. So it's kind of like when you go to Winterfire, you go to a hotel takeover. Every single person in there is kinky. You don't have to worry about vanillas showing up, and it's like the all-inclusive thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part. I really, really like the wristband system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How fun was that?
That was an awesome idea. I wish that was a real life thing where all of your do's and don'ts are on your I guess it's like a chip.
Yeah,
in the
sure
wristband.
It's maybe like a QR code or something, and you scan it and it comes up on your phone. But that's the other thing. You couldn't have your own phones because nobody wanted like pictures taken. So they gave you these
have a burner
old
phone.
like flip phones that they gave out, I guess, when you got in.
Which doesn't make any sense, honestly, because if you have an old flip phone, it's not going to be able to scan a QR code.
Look, it's romance reasons, okay? Chalk it up to romance reasons. It's a fancy... Look, they're vampires, okay? You can believe in vampires, but you can't believe in some sort of rigged cell phone can't scan
No, that is way far past my realm of turn off your brain and go with it. Vampires, no problem.
All right.
She's glaring at me so much right now. She's like, listen.
Look, like I said, romance reasons, okay? If something doesn't make sense, I chalk it up to romance reasons for the most part.
I'm gonna pay you back for this and make you read a fantasy.
I'm fine with it. I'll read whatever you want.
Okay. I will give you the book that sets the bar for me.
Okay, sounds good. Look, I chose this book because it had a lot of kink in it. That's really not the only, but like one of the reasons I chose it, because all of the fantasy books, they had some kink, but it wasn't like, kink forward. It was kind of like kink was like on the back end.
Well, send me the list of those. Maybe I'll do a part 2 and use some of these other books that don't have as much, because my thing is, I know you and Rara and several other people in our Discord and patron chat are all about the as much kink as possible in their books.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there are people out there who want less, and that's what they're into. And that's what I'm was trying to like go for, I guess, but it's totally fine. Like, I really, really enjoyed broadening my horizons through this project.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I also read Lady of Rooksgrave Manor.
That's so spicy and so kinky.
Yes. And I did have very much fun, if you get my drift, with a few of those. And I really appreciate that this book that you chose, From Russia with Blood, it has a plot.
Yes.
It immediately has a plot.
Yes.
It immediately has a villain. And when I say immediately, I mean like the first chapter is the villain.
Mm-hmm.
I very much appreciate that. character development. There is backstory. There is characters making mistakes so they can learn and grow. I love that about this book because compared to some of the other ones, this one is, well, okay, first of all, it is actually very well written.
Yes.
But compared to Lady of Rooksgrave Manors, Jesus Christ, that was just straight porn.
That was just, yeah, well, that's an erotica, okay? That is the difference between an erotica and a romance. I know that this was a very spicy romance, but it was still a romance. It wasn't.
Yes. When I read romance, normally it's like Nora Roberts.
Oh, wow. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, mostly. Okay. And I'll tell you why. I know you're looking at me like, what the fuck? We have very, very vastly different ideas of what this is.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the story that Nora Roberts crafts.
Nothing wrong with that.
I have always been a plot girl. I have always been a world building kind of person. I did appreciate that in this book. That's just my thing.
You need to talk to Tori, my co-host, because she's also plot first, spice second.
Okay. So I've totally, like, I know we've talked about this on TikTok. So you are rah-rah for your podcast. You are rah-rah and Tori is me.
Yes. 100%. Because I run all of our social media. My face is on everything. I'm definitely the more social human being.
Are you her emotional support extrovert?
Yes. 100%.
God, you guys are so me and rah-rah.
Yeah. But we've never met in real life, so that's the difference.
Well, yeah, that would be different. Yeah, no, I totally have to hook up with her. She's going to be more my speed. I'll interview her for my next round. We will pick a book. That will be fun.
That's great, because also she's in the lifestyle herself, so she's also going to be able to, I guess, give it more of a different perspective than me, because I am what you guys call a vanilla with sprinkles.
Oh, okay. Well, this is going to be interesting.
I just like reading about this stuff.
You don't actually participate?
No.
You should.
I have 2 small children.
So?
Okay. So where my life was a lot more exciting with my husband before, now I have 2 very, very small children. And if we can plop a quickie in there at some point, then we're lucky. You know what I mean?
Let us know when you get a weekend babysitter and come out, and we'll take you to a dungeon.
That would be fun. But I mean, I actually talked to Dara and to Rara about it. Like, I'd love to meet you guys. I think that we would all just have a lot of fun together. Like,
we'd have an amazing time
as just like peoples. So,
and you have to explain this romance rules to me.
Okay.
So, because once again, I don't read a whole lot of spice and I'm going to say that, and it's going to piss you off because it pissed off the other romance readers that I've said this to. The spice to me in these books is boring.
Okay. You're just reading the wrong kind of spice.
Reading, the act of reading it is boring.
Oh.
I'm an audio person, and somebody was like, okay, well, why don't you find ones that have the audiobook?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It's the describing it that is boring.
Okay.
I can't explain it very well. I always do a really piss poor job of explaining it.
I'm going to give you a couple of book recs for audio, just because I know that you're an audio person. And I feel like possibly if the male narrator did it for you audio-wise, you might be able to stick it out.
Possibly.
Because, let's see. There's Corbin King, who has a lot of different books. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a narrator. He's really great. Also, Aiden Snow, his voice is insane. Like,
also the name is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I'll give you a couple of different.
Okay, we will trade off.
Yes.
Okay,
but back to this book. I feel like I'm on my own podcast, and like we're going on tangents, and I'm like, we had to talk about this book.
I mean, you've heard me and rah-rah, right? God, you should have heard the episode that we did this morning. Holy shit, talk about tangents. I'm pretty sure we had 9 minutes of actual, like, talking about the topic. That was it.
Well, last night, Tori and I recorded, and she was like, my voice hurts. Like, I don't want to talk too much. So, like, let's just get to the point. And then she went on a 5-minute tangent about bear dicks. So, yes, bear shifter dicks. I should not like actual bears.
Okay.
And the book wasn't about a shifter. So,
okay. What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely is me and Rara. Okay.
Yes.
I do have a note in here about one, I don't know how many lines this is, like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved this. I love her sass.
Yes. The
Oh,
banter.
this girl is sassy. Oh, this girl is so sassy. I like it. I like it. It says, it doesn't really matter what you tolerate, does it? False bravado has me standing up just a little bit taller and pulling my shoulders back. He wasn't my dom. We hadn't negotiated shit. I was like, you go, girl, kick his ass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. He shows her later.
Yeah, he does, with the non-consensual figging.
Yep.
Bastard.
There's, you know,
I would
what?
have thrown him overboard.
Come to think of it, as like this book had a lot of bodily fluids, so you probably wouldn't have liked that part either.
I skipped them. Yeah, so much bodily fluids.
Yes.
Let's see, there was the part where, okay, so during the figging scene,
Mm-hmm.
the bad guy, Luca,
Mm-hmm.
was like jerking off watching, and I don't understand how Jackson didn't notice.
He was enthralled with his girl. Why would he notice anything else?
Was he enthralled with his girl, or was he in thrall?
Enthralled.
Oh. Would have been funnier, like, if Luca had done something and made him not able to notice.
Well, that too, but also, he did drug his water. Luca drugged Jackson's water. And that made, with some sort of medicine, like drugging, that made him, hallucinate, but also super horny. So...
That explains it.
Mm-hmm. So he was just in, like, I guess, almost a haze, like a super lusty haze. And he didn't notice anything besides his girl. That is the part of romance, right? Again, the rules of romance is it needs to have a happily ever after. And the central love story, like the main plot, needs to kind of include a central love story. It can be anything else, right? It can be a mystery. It can be a horror, like kind of like this, like a paranormal horror kind of book. It can be anything. But as long as it has those two elements of central love story and happily ever after, that's a romance.
Right.
And in most romances, and that's what makes it happy for me to read, is the hero is absolutely, like, obsessed with his heroine and devoted to her in dark romance at a very unhealthy degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that 100% happened here, but times 2, because she had 2 heroes. Luca is also somebody who she's going to end up with. They're going to all end up, spoiler alert, in a throuple.
Okay, wait. How does Jackson tolerate that?
He doesn't.
So
in the end of this book, what happens is they quote unquote hit an iceberg, which they actually don't, but Luca orchestrates it that it looks like they did, and they have to evacuate the entire ship. At which point he does kidnap both Jackson and
Katrina.
Mm-hmm. And he turns both of them. He turns them both into vampires. Actually,
poor Jackson. Well, I knew Katrina was going to end up like that, but poor Jackson.
Well, actually, Gloria turns Jackson.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then we have to read part 2 of this duet to find out what happens. But I mean, I've read what happens, and it's a lot of Luca using Kat against Jackson to make him do stuff. Like, it's
that makes sense.
Very non-con. Like, he's like, okay, you don't want your girl to end up evil, then you better deliver. And you're gonna have to. He makes him punish Kat and do all these things to her and to him, and then he does things to Jackson. It's like a very entangled relationship.
I'm telling you, I will continue reading this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to take me a hot minute.
That's okay. That's okay, because romance isn't your thing, and spice isn't in books and isn't your thing, which is fine.
Well, there's another series of books called, it started out as a trilogy. So it was the Black Jewels trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
and it became like a 13-book series.
Okay.
First of all, I have every single thing written by this author. Fucking adore her. I don't care what anybody says. Anne Bishop is like a goddess for
Mhm.
world building. But hers are incredibly dark.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some non-con in there. I mean, like, seriously bad. And it's not glorifying it. It doesn't, it's bad. They all say it's bad, it's horrible, it's traumatic, it's disgusting, da-da-da-da-da. The person is punished, all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
there are sex slaves, there's whipping, there's literal castration for entertainment in that book.
Wow. Sounds like something I would enjoy.
But it's not spicy.
Oh. That sounds like something I would not enjoy.
Right. It is not a romance. It does have a romance component. See, this is the thing. This is why I kind of want to like trade off with you and see what happens.
All right.
That is, I didn't even put that on the list for kink books for this episode because it doesn't have kink. The only kink it has is that because they are a matriarchal society, women are top. Women are the dominant to everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Two of the male leads are, they start off as sex slaves, pleasure slaves.
Okay.
And yeah, but that's it.
But there's no spice, right? There's no sex scenes?
No, no.
Okay.
Well, one of them later on in the series is actually pretty cool because the guy flies. He's what they call an Irian. And they have wings. They have bat wings. It's a race with wings, which is awesome. And he is helping this other girl through her virgin night.
Oh.
Problem is, she's a lesbian. It's very obvious she is already. And she's like, fuck, but I have to do this. So he does this thing where he goes into her mind and creates this image of them like soaring. And they do a free fall. But in the meantime, he's fucking her.
Oh,
and she doesn't realize it. But it's subtle. You read the free fall part and then she comes out of it and she's like, holy shit, it's done. He goes, yeah, it's done.
Mm.
So not exactly something you would like. It's not as explicit.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's not explicit. It is not detailed. However, I love it.
Yeah, I like the nitty gritty. You have. I like the show me exactly how's happening and what is happening and who's happening to who.
I feel like such a prude when I talk to you and rah-rah about this stuff. I really do.
It's fine. No, look, different strokes for different folks. We don't yuck other people's yum around these parts either.
Well, that's not true. I yuck rah-rah's yums all the time.
Yeah, but that's consensual.
That's just our thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so really quick, I want to go back to, there was this one other thing that I really thought was good. And most of this stuff is like in the setup, like when they're talking about it.
Yeah.
I really liked where they had a 2-drink minimum per day.
Yes.
That was
you
interesting.
Mean maximum. 2-drink maximum.
Yes. Did I say minimum?
Yes.
That would be bad. I would be hammered and not be able to enjoy the cruise because I am more of a lightweight than Katrina. Whew. But yes, yes, it says 2-drink maximum. I just read that backwards.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Yeah. We cannot afford to mix play and drinks. If you seem inebriated before coming into play, we will turn you away. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but then they're drugging them the whole time with the sexy water.
But the setup was great, okay? The rule was great.
The rule is great. Again, this is Vivian. Vivian is in the lifestyle. She knows what the rules should be, and she knows, how it should be, right? In real life. And then she takes that, and she goes, all right, what if I were to write a really fucked up dark romance with it? And she does. Yeah.
How do I darkify this?
Mm-hmm. I just make everyone nod consent to anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you get to the somnophilia part of this book?
No.
Okay. So
I think that's a little after where I had to stop.
So Luca drugs Katrina and with the water. And then she's like comatose because she just had a whole bunch of scenes with Jackson and she's like in subspace anyway. Then drank this, like roofied water. And
that's the stuff that's already in Jackson's room, right?
It's everywhere. So he has this like he has these scientists who like inject the water with stuff and like they're vampires, they're high tech, they know how to do it without like breaking the seal or anything. So it's like whatever water they need to give to whoever they want to drug. Because I'm sure they're not drugging everybody, but whoever they want to drug is who they're.
Well, it was pretty obvious that when Katrina got upgraded, he was going for her.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then Lucas comes in and he does a lot of different things. There's a lot of blood play in it where he like cuts her vag and stuff and like eats her out while like drinking her blood as well.
Very
he's
vampire-ish.
A vampire. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, that makes 100%. I'm going to skip that scene.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But
it makes sense.
I enjoyed the crap out of it. Because she's like, it's somnophilia like, because she is awake, but she's drugged. So she's like seeing all of it.
She's like aware, but she can't do anything about it.
Yeah, she's like in a drugged stupor. And then in the morning when she wakes up, she thinks it's just a dream. Because of course he healed her with his blood. He's a vampire. So there's no like nicks on her. There's no bruises or anything. And I mean, that's just one of the scenes that he does bad things to her, but in a hot way. And then your listeners are going to be like, what is wrong with this girl? But
if you would like to hear more about these kinds of books, please go over to Nat at Trigger Warning Romance Podcast.
Yes.
You do your own one. I don't know what it is.
It's pretty much it. If you want to hear me and Tori just go absolutely haywire and giggle our way through lots of books where there is so much, not just kink, but just like fucked up shit, Because a lot of it actually doesn't have kink. It's just like jealous, possessive, crazy psychopaths locking people in basements. Like,
like you know.
Yeah, it's just the way they show their love. It's fine.
Of course, yes.
We just did an episode that's gonna be coming out. I think it'll probably be out by the time this one is out on Cruel Idols, where two guys who pretty much kidnapped this one girl, and they all are writers, they're all authors, and they write spicy books. So they make her do research with them and like just do a bunch of fucked up shit to her.
So she's their Barbie.
More or less.
Yeah, because I know what spicy writers do. They have a couple of Barbies over here and they're like trying to put them in different positions just to see what it looked like. I know how that works.
Yeah, like they lock her up in a cage. They shove her in a basement all blindfolded and tied up. There's a lot of primal in that book. There's a lot of primal in this book too, though.
Yeah.
So that book is Cruel Idols by Saoirse Black, if anybody wants to go read that. That's like Misery by Stephen King, but backwards, because the writers kidnap the reader.
Got you, yes.
How cool was it, though, that they had the whole rigged system of where I think sanctuary was the universal word. And if you say that in any place on the ship, people will come running to help you.
That was awesome. Again, I loved the setup of this. Like, the author clearly thought about it and planned it out and did everything that they would ever want in a situation like this. It's like, can this be a real thing? I would love for this to be a real thing. If this was an actual cruise, 2 weeks is a bit long for me, but like a 5-day kink cruise.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'd be all over that.
There has to be, because they have all different types of cruises, and it'll probably be a smaller cruise ship. Like, it won't be, a Norwegian or a Royal or something, but it might be.
So what you're telling me is don't kink on a Disney cruise?
I don't think that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean,
shame.
It all depends on the kind of kink that you're doing. I mean, if you have like a financial kink, that's definitely, they're going to fuck you up the ass.
I'm thinking more like being a little.
I think you could do that on a Disney cruise.
Right? I feel like that's expected because most Disney adults, I feel like, would be littles.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now that we've gone way off in a different direction of looking for cruises, I think we might have to wrap this one up.
Look, you had
We're never going to get anything done.
You had me on your podcast. You knew I had ADHD. You listened to my podcast. We do not stay on topic, my friend.
Have you listened to Pink Kink and how I derail shit all the time? I knew this was going to happen. I still was okay with it. My only... I'm more okay with it because it's driving Rah crazy listening to this right now, I think. She's going to be like, what the fuck are you... You didn't even talk about the book!
I did talk about the book. I think the book is fantastic. There's lots of sexy stuff going on in the book. There's lots of kinky stuff going on in the book. The kink drives the plot. I think,
and it has a plot. I'm just so happy it has a plot.
Again, this is a romance, it's not an erotica. An
Thank
erotica
God.
is where you don't have a lot of plot, where it's just like they meet and they do stuff. In a romance, there has to be something. You know, the spice just makes it better and it drives a plot forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you could have had this book without the spice. Like, it would just be not a book.
No, it wouldn't have worked.
Exactly.
No, it was good. I did enjoy what I read. I just had, like, there was very obvious, like, no.
Yes,
No.
because it's a dark romance.
Well, I do appreciate you broadening my horizons. I do actually like doing that. So that was part of this whole experience with this project and these episodes that I'm doing that I really enjoyed, actually. So now I'm going to do the same to you.
Sounds good. I am looking forward to it. Thank you for having me on.
Have a good night. Ooh, plug your podcast again really quick.
Yes, if anybody wants to listen to more of my insanity talking about dark romance and all sorts of non-consensual and consensual and just insane crazy books, please follow us at Trigger Warning Romance on any of the platforms that you listen to a podcast on. You can also follow me on TikTok. I have a lot of just crazy TikTok videos. That's actually where I met Rara.
Me, technically.
And you technically, yes, as well. So at Trigger Warning Romance on TikTok and Instagram. And you're welcome to join our Facebook page. It is the Trigger Warning Romance listener support page on Facebook.
Yeah, I probably won't be joining.
It's okay.
Just FYI.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Happy to pop in on your lives anytime, but...
It's fine. I mean, I just have a good time with spice and dark romance, and my husband doesn't complain, so.
I bet he doesn't.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for having me. I enjoy doing this again with maybe one of your books, or the follow-up, because swords cross in the next book.
Oh, yes. Okay, we'll have to... I'm going to get to it. I'm going to finish this one, see if I can read it. I have my TBR pile is a little bit stupid, so this is going to take me a hot minute, but I promise you, I'm going to read it. We're going to discuss it.
Sounds good. All right. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Okay. What were you going to laugh about?
I'm going to laugh at your problem with the non-con.
Oh my God. I couldn't. I have such a trauma response to that. I can't.
Welcome to romance.
Oh my God.
Where consent is optional sometimes.
I can't.
That's a dark romance.
You know what? Shut up, Dara, because the next book that we're going to talk about has that's one of the controversies. So I guess I should shut the fuck up.
Well, it's there's controversy even within the romance world about non-con books.
Yeah, but it didn't affect me in the fantasy book that I read. I was just like, all right, whatever. But this one pissed me off. I mean, it's weird.
Why?
You know what? It was the figging part. Okay. So here's the thing. In the fantasy books that I read, if there's a non-consent, it is not pleasurable on the part of the person who did not consent. It is viewed as this is bad. It's not glorified. Everybody's pissed off about it. In the romance part, In the romance books, it's written as it's non-consent until it actually happens, and then everybody's fine with it. And I'm like, no.
It depends on what the purpose is. There are books with the non-con where eventually, almost like Stockholm Syndrome, she falls in love with him, she forgives him because of Stockholm Syndrome. You've got non-con where he's not a good person at the beginning, but the love of a good woman changes him and he becomes a good person, and all the bad things like the non-con that he does at the beginning of the book, he's learned his lesson and doesn't do again.
Well, then he should go to prison.
Okay. Because we know well that all the people, all in real life, people who do non-con always end up in prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's also non-con that never is okay. She just becomes, unfortunately, used to it. That's her life.
Yeah, but this one was non-consensual figging. That threw me. I was like, oh, hell no.
One of the problems with romance books and kink is this their lack of negotiating properly, the way that we in the kink community negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of negotiating during, at the time, which in the kink world, we don't consider that properly consenting.
Well, I think that's probably my problem, because I'm coming from being in kink for over 20 years now. I think I was in kink before I started reading these kinds of books. So, or maybe around the same time. So anyway, it's really throwing me off. All right. So now, Rara, on to your idea.
Oh, good. The one I don't remember.
Exactly. Yes. So would you like to start?
If I remembered, I'd be happy to.
This is great. Okay. So there is one book that I did not do an interview with somebody else with. This is the one that is super controversy riddled and all of that. And you said that you would interview me for this episode, for this book.
Okay. What was the book?
You have no idea what even questions to ask or anything.
No, because I don't know what book.
Okay, well, you're still not going to know what questions to ask because you've never read the book.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to interview myself. And Rara, you're just...
Well, no, I can interview you a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So Dara, tell me about which book you chose to read.
Well, this one is called Wizard's First Rule in the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind.
And what made you choose this book?
I started reading this book. A boyfriend in high school really got me into it. So there are approximately 12 books in this series. I have read them all. I am one of... not too many people have actually gotten all the way through this series. And I just... because of the controversy in this, which I find fascinating. If you look this book up on Reddit, almost every single post about this book is negative. About this entire series is so negative. Overall, they say that The Wizard's First Rule, the first book in this series, while somewhat poorly written, is the best book out of the whole series. And it just kind of devolves. So most of the bad stuff is later on because this author got really, really political with his books. And you can tell. Like the fifth book, the villains are basically Bill and Hillary Clinton. Like Bertrand and Hildemara Chambord, that's their name. Okay. So
is the controversy about the subject matter or about the writing, this writing style?
All of it. It's so everything that they could destroy with this author, it has been destroyed. I mean, so first of all, I know that he's not a very good writer overall. He's not the worst writer I've ever read my entire life, but he's also not the best. So like, I would say he's meh. He's mediocre. He's not fantastic. But if you want a book that you can basically turn your brain off and you don't really care about good writing all that much, go for it. It's fine.
So how come in this particular book you're able to check your brain at the door and just sit back and go for a ride?
I don't know. I can't do it with romance, but I can sure as fuck do it with these. I don't know. Probably because I started reading it at 16, so I didn't really know better. But let's see. The other problem with this author, he's dead now, by the way. He died in like 21. So not really a problem. But apparently the biggest issue was in one of his last books, the artist drew, did the painting, did the cover art, whatever. And Goodkind went onto social media and criticized the shit out of it. And I'm like, okay, that's a dick move, but he's always been known for being an arrogant dick. His books kind of reflect that. All right, so it's basically a hero's journey, classic fantasy, and it really is so hero's journey. You got your guy, your male protagonist, and think Star Wars, okay? Think Harry Potter. Compare this. You got your male protagonist who's like kind of alone, doesn't really have a whole lot of friends. His family is either estranged or dead or whatever. And he lives this one lives on his own or with relatives. And he has a very old male mentor who is more than what he seems. And he goes off on an adventure where he meets the beautiful girl and he has to continuously save her over and over and over again because she keeps getting into shit. But she's also a bit of a sass. And she saves herself as often as he saves her. And then they have to cross the border into this literally crossing a magical border into a literally magical world. And they get into that later in the book. And they have to defeat the evil, who, by the way, in this book, the evil is Hitler.
Interesting choice.
Not Hitler. That's not his name. He's not actually Hitler, but he's like an Aryan race kind of guy, and he's trying to destroy everybody who is not of his Aryan type race.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So very, very obvious parallels. I mean, there's an entire book where the evil is socialism. So you can tell his political views. All right. So some quotes that I pulled from Reddit about this book. People get upset that his books glorify BDSM.
Sorry. Sorry.
And this one is having his main character. Oh no, wait a minute. So here's the part. Most people drop it at the torture sex parts. Torture sex. So
okay. How do they torture sex?
Okay, so this is the part that I liked. So this is the fucked up part. Okay. So he gets captured. Major fucking spoiler. I don't care. He gets captured by the bad guys. He's taken away for months at a time by a very tall, very beautiful woman in head-to-toe, skin-tight red leather, who he must refer to as mistress. And she carries a leather rod that she hits him with that has some magical property of being an excruciating pain thing, kind of like being hit by lightning.
Aha.
Okay? Torture sex. I'm like, no, that's not torture sex. That's just BDSM with impact. She's a mistress. He has to obey the rules. He has to crawl on the floor like a dog. He has to obey his mistress. I don't see the problem here. I don't. I liked it. It was long. It was a lot. So like all the vanilla people that have a problem with this book, obviously this is the part they're not going to like. It's like huge chunk of the book. But it also helps in the end of the book. And it does keep coming back that this time that he spent with this mistress taught him things that he uses in the series. So again, I don't have a problem with this. Now, speaking of Stockholm Syndrome from earlier, he does end up getting it. So that part's interesting. But that right there is the biggest reason why everybody doesn't like this book. And I'm sitting here like, I don't get it. I like it.
Not easy when you like a book and everybody else hates it.
Well, I mean, it was kind of a best-selling book for a while, so I don't think there's that many people that hate it, or else it wouldn't have gone to like 12 or 13 of these books.
Yeah.
he wouldn't have been able to keep writing because the publishers wouldn't have kept going. But I just found that really funny that everybody is like, immediately when you ask the question, what was what you hated the most about this book? Oh, I didn't like the glorifying of BDSM. Okay, fuck you too. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole series. I plowed right through it. I mean, I won't apologize for it. It's trash. And the middle section is really, really bad. If you go through this whole series, I mean, it is bad. The first...
How bad is it?
I
sorry.
I almost had to force myself to read it. A few of them. Like 8 through 11, they're the worst. Worst. Also, there's a chicken that is a demon, and that part people got pissed off at because, I mean, of all the things you could have chosen, a chicken, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It just, there's some good shit in it. There's some bad shit in it. But if you're interested in torture sex, that part was actually really good in my opinion. So I don't know what people are all complaining about. So yeah, that is Wizard's first rule. The magic system is different. It's interesting. You gotta, I think it works. Again, people who are very into high fantasy didn't like it. But if you're willing to, if you just want to check your brain at the door and you're just kind of like, fuck it, I'll read it anyway, go for it. And then tell me what you think.
It happened.
Again, I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever written. It's definitely not. But yeah. Great interview, Robert. I'm really glad we had this talk.
Hey, anytime. Did you learn anything from reading these books that you didn't know beforehand?
Yes.
Okay.
If I want a book with more action and kink that is somewhat not as in your face as what Rah likes, write it yourself.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of authors will tell you that's how they got started writing because they couldn't find what they wanted.
Well, that's what I remember from the romance episode that we did. They were like,
that's how golden, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not there. I'm not ready. But I still want to find books that have this, and I'm going to keep looking for them. So if anybody has any recommendations for me, here's what I'm looking for. An actual fantasy novel, not an erotica, not a romance. So like think Lord of the Rings, but add sex to it. Add kink. Okay? Like if the high elves want to go and have some kinky sex fun, that's what I'm looking for. But there has to be an actual story. Like, holy shit. Some of these books did not actually have a plot. All right, that's what I learned.
Okay. Well, I am glad. It was as I said, it was fun to watch you talk about your passion of reading. Because as a passionate reader myself, I get it. I don't get your choice in books, but I get your love of books.
I don't get your choice in books either, and that's why we're friends, because we don't do the same thing. Polar fucking opposites.
I know, I squeaked it that time.
Yes, you did.
Squeaked that time. I admit it. I squeaked.
Wow, that was very piercing. You're okay. It's okay. Breathe, Robert. You can go to sleep now. We're done.
Well, no sleep. I got to go back to books.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, that's your own damn fault. I'm reading Daughter of Blood for probably the 14th time.
I read 2 today.
I don't know.
One I started yesterday. I finished it today, and then read a second one today. Work was really easy today.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I had that time. But yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to announce it here on the podcast too. For anybody who doesn't yet, or they do follow me on Tickety Talk, I have started I'm starting a new series called Kisses and Kink.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it Kink and Kisses? I can't remember. I have to look it up. Which comes first? Where I'm basically going to read BDSM romance and I'm going to rank them. Not on the romance writing portion of it, but how well they do with the kink portion of it.
Very cool. Can't wait to see these.
If you do a really good job with the kink portion, you get 5 kisses. If you do a job, you only get 1 kiss.
Okay, I like it. I think that's going to be really fun.
I think I'm calling it Kink and Kisses.
I like it. All right.
So yeah.
Well, that was my birthday episode, peeps. We will see you next week for Rah-Rah's birthday episode, part 1.
Yay!
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you have a question you would like answered or just have a story about the lifestyle you want to share, you can send us a voicemail and maybe it'll be featured in an episode. Just go to pinkkinkpodcast.com to contact us.
Follow us on social media. On Twitter, Instagram, and FetLife, we are Pink Kink Podcast. And on TikTok, we are Pink Kink Podcast 2.0. Join our Facebook group, Pink Kink Podcast, and hang out with other Pink Kinksters.
If you love what we do and are able to help support us, we are on Patreon. Just look for us on patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can also help support our affiliates, which benefits small businesses and Pink Kink.
Even if you can't show your support financially, there are other ways you can help. You can spread the word about our kinky podcast and tell your friends about us. You can also rate and review Pink Kink on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. The 5-star reviews really help.
Don't forget to subscribe to Pink Kink so you don't miss a minute of the fun. New episodes come out every Friday.
Until next time, stay pretty, stay safe,
and stay twisted.